Hey, we are here at the Leipzig Book Fair and we have the guys from Txtr here. Wizpac actually presenting their device, the Txtr, and they have agreed to do a little interview for Mobileread.com. So, let's start with the first question. In a few words, can you tell us what is special about your device? Why we should buy the Txtr as opposed to, let's say, the Kindle, the Sony Reader, the Cybook, or any of the other devices out there?
Okay. Well, first of all, it's pretty. And there's Txtr.com, which is something the other guys didn't do, which is a community platform integrating various sources of content, digital content, into Txtr.com, so you can view it on your reader later. So it's not just about books that you buy for reading later, but it's also about blogs, news feeds, and the whole content that is on the net already, and it's digital already, that wants to be read, not necessarily on the screen, but possibly on a reader in the future.
Okay, thank you very much. So the community is part of the Txtr project, if I understand that correctly. So you have blogs and other input data as well as commercial books. So let's talk about commercial books for a bit. You know that Amazon has, of course, its own Kindle bookstore. Mobileread is supplying a lot of books for the Cybook, for example, for the IRIX Iliad. What are your plans on that front, on the front of DRM-protected, books you can actually buy?
Well, actually, we hope they're not going to be all DRM protected, but obviously this is going to happen. We're talking to German content aggregators currently. We are not yet talking to international aggregators, but we're interested in doing this, obviously, when we're rolling out internationally. There's nothing that is confirmed yet, but there will be a commercial program that is not worse than what Sony and at least than what Sony is offering currently.
Okay, the German ebook market at the moment is looking pretty empty actually. If you try to find English-speaking books, let's say 5 years ago, you were pretty lost. You had a few books that were in some obscure format that nobody could read. But today, well, you can look at various sites. You are not really bound to Amazon. You can look at books on board, other sites where you really get a large supply of fiction books, and you can also find textbooks online. On the German market at the moment, it's looking quite, well, difficult. I tried once to get German ebooks, but there's hardly anything. So you're saying that you are speaking to publishers actually, and there seems to be at least a chance that they will start supplying German ebooks as well?
Yeah, it's even better. They learned what is going to happen. So now on the Leipzig Book Fair, we talked to a lot of aggregators and content suppliers, publishers, that told us they're going to, content is going digital, and they could hide away for a certain amount of time, but it's over now, and they know that. So they're definitely moving now. When the Sony came, or when the Kindle came out in the US, they woke up pretty much. So
they probably heard the recent news that every, I think, 20th German person is planning to buy an ebook this year. Not a device, but a book, an electronic book. They probably read the news somewhere and thought, oh, maybe we should start getting into business there. Yeah, like iTunes, like the music industry also did. Okay, so let's talk about the device. At the moment it's charging, which actually brings me to my first question. Since battery life has been a large concern with many of the new readers, especially my very favorite, the IRIX Iliad, which when I got it originally back, 3 years ago, sort of died after 4 hours of light usage. So what kind of, on your website you say that you have an e-ink basically supporting power saving mechanism, which is very vague. Can you tell us a bit more about it?
Yeah, but I didn't do this, but our hardware engineers are very concerned about battery life, and they're optimizing every little switch and bit that they can optimize to shut things down when they're not needed. So I mean, I probably can tell you this. We're shutting down the device completely when you're reading, when you're not turning pages, and wake the main processor only up to turn pages, stuff like that. So there's a lot of optimization going into the hardware layout right now.
Well, that's very good news, at least for me, because I'm somebody who's always very mad about battery life. And yeah, well, the Sony reader actually was a very good example of that, but all the others seem to have sort of fallen a bit short in that respect. I don't know why, but I hope your company manages to get it right this time, because it's one of the major. Yeah.
Soll ich was machen? Du kannst jetzt gerade gar nichts aufladen? Das lädt. Okay, das wollte ich nur wissen. Sorry.
Okay, so next point with e-ink is always difficult to have a proper UI, because e-ink is very slow, and refreshing, and if you have to go through menus, one key press at a time, it can be a big problem. Do you have any special solution there?
Yeah, we have reduced the interface basically to that. I can show you this on this device. We reduced the interaction to this cross, to this slider, which is capacitive, to give you the possibility to turn pages and select a menu and go back. And that's about it. We're not going to build a PDA or something around e-ink, because that's not going to work. This is for reading. So we did away with everything that wouldn't be useful for reading books, including UI elements that just are for, when technical personnel design stuff, they always want to add features and stuff. But we're reducing this to what you need for reading. Not to say that the features aren't going to be there, but they're going to be there hidden, or it's a very open architecture, so you can add them if you really want them. But for the average reader who wants to turn pages and select a book, we did a UI that can do exactly this. This is what we see on the reader.
Okay, that actually sounds good, because with the IRIX Iliad, which is a really wonderful device that can do everything, you were basically stuck with a very slow interface that made it very difficult to actually use even the most basic functions.
And by the way, the very fact that you can do a lot of things with this, which is mostly due to the pen input, reduces the battery life massively, because this is a Wacom tablet behind the display, which sucks the energy from the batteries in like ours.
Okay, now most people, or many people, are going to use a device in that form factor for, I guess, reading fiction books, like I would do. Buy a book somewhere, read it, fine. There are also people who are interested in using it for studying purposes, and those people are always very mad about a search function. Now, the question is, with a reduced interface, are you planning a search function, maybe even a full text search function, or is no such function planned?
There's some things you can do with an interface like that. You can imagine something like T9 on your mobile phone, where you see letters, and by probability you can select the next letter that probably makes sense. I'm not promising that this will be done till fall. And we will have to experiment what can be done there. The ideas are there, we're experimenting, but it's always going to be, even if we do it, the Kindle will be faster for inputting text because they have a keyboard. So it's as simple as that. So the next generation after this is probably going to have very interesting input capabilities. Let me put it this way. For now, we stick with the input, and we're trying to do search as good as it gets. Maybe it's not a device for searching full text. That just might be the case.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's nice, because some of the devices are, they don't know where they belong really, and then they try to do everything, and that is then a bit difficult. Yeah. Okay. Now you said the device is going to be open. It's going to be extendable. Can you tell us a bit more about? It's a Linux device basically. Are you going to open it to third-party developers? Are you going to open it to third-party applications?
We definitely are. That's part of the That's part of what sets us apart from the large players in that market. You know, Sony is never going to open up anything serious. That's not going to happen. And surprisingly, Amazon, they're a quite closed system. They are moving now, but it's quite closed. So it's a strategic position to have an open device.